While many former WWE names like Chris Jericho, Tony Storm, and others have thrived in AEW, Bryan Danielson, add him to the pack. Some jumping over to All Elite Wrestling have not been so fortunate. Here are 10 WWE superstars who didn't pan out too good in AEW. Number 10, Saraya. After Paige retired from in-ring competition due to a severe neck injury, she remained with WWE as a contributor on screen and in WWE-related projects. After her contract expired with WWE in July of 2022, she signed with All Elite Wrestling in September of that year as Saraya. Yes, more rooted in her real name and her wrestling family's lineage, officially returning to the ring for in-ring action. This sparked excitement with wrestling fans, as it was her first return to wrestling since 2017. She captured the AEW Women's World Championship in 2023 in her home country of England, but losing her title the following month, the title win seemed like the biggest she was going to get. That hometown pop. That was the peak of her AEW run, and a memorable match, but the height of everything that she had from WWE simply wasn't capitalized on in AEW. You know, the Outcast faction, it was there, but it didn't move the needle. After announcing a hiatus in 2024, she left AEW in 2025 when her contract expired. Number 9, Rusev. Yes, Rusev arrived in AEW in 2020 with high fan expectations and excitement thanks to his WWE built-in popularity and some feeling like there was untapped potential there. However, his AEW run failed to make a strong impact, failing on short-term hype and dealing with sporadic injuries. Initially introduced in a comedy role with Kip Sabian, his character development felt a bit unfocused. He later pivoted into the intense Redeemer persona, which got some momentum going a little bit, and a TNT Championship reign followed with flashes of promise. But inconsistent booking decisions, maybe underwhelming storylines, stunted his momentum. Miro, as he was known in AEW, disappeared from TV and remained stuck in less important feuds. Occasional injuries, once again, and alleged creative differences also led to a long absence, further dampening his momentum. Ultimately, for many fans in AEW, his tenure just seemed like a disappointment when compared to what it could have been. Number 9, Ricochet. Ricochet's AEW run is still going, and some feel like they're still trying to figure out how to present him beyond just that amazing athleticism, which was always WWE's problem. He had his peaks and his valleys in WWE. While fans admire his flashy, high-flying moves, AEW has struggled to give him a meaningful character, compelling promos, or a storyline that showcased him as more than a highlight machine. He has personality, we're seeing glimpses of it. He often got lost in a stacked roster with similar wrestlers, and maybe is that a thing that's going to make it hard for him to break out and become his own star. Ricochet became another underused name, fading into the background instead of rising to the main event level that some desired. Number 7, Buddy Matthews. Buddy Matthews' AEW run hasn't capitalized on his talent and potential just yet, and there's been injuries. Injuries are a major factor to someone not getting where they're supposed to be. He spent much of his tenure as a part of the Aleister or Malachi Black House of Black, even capturing the Trios Championship. But that success never translated into a higher spot on the card, especially when the Trios Championships are very much just stuck in the mid-card, maybe by design. The unfortunate thing here is because of Matthews' character and his matches having high quality, his athletic prowess is often praised by fans and critics alike, but it just seems to have a ceiling with it. He's mostly been relegated to supporting roles, with fewer singles matches and chances to develop his own character away from the group, without a significant screen time to back it up beyond being a follower, just like he was in WWE. Yeah, his biggest role there was being a henchman for Seth Rollins. Here he was doing it again in AEW. His potential just doesn't seem to truly propel him as his own man just yet, preventing him from reaching the top tier of the talent that he deserves. Number 6, Andrade. Andrade's AEW run was widely considered a disappointment despite high expectations. The reason is that they never gave Andrade a consistent direction, but also there were backstage issues with him. Yeah, him getting into it with Sammy Guevara, him reportedly trying to get out of his contract. It was a pretty messy situation. He went back to WWE and he's already out of WWE again. Despite all of that, he was stuck mostly in these haphazard storylines, next to little involvement in title situations, resulting in limited screen time. He got to hang in there with Cody for a little bit, but that was before Cody left the company. His character stagnated with minimal development, and while he delivered some excellent performances, especially against Pac, those highlights came with little follow-up. And those real-life issues with Sammy Guevara became the real problem for many people, thinking that kept him off TV, stalling any remaining momentum he might have left. Number 5, Jake Hager. As Jack Swagger, Jake Hager, a former world champion in WWE who was trying his hand at MMA, was also looking for some creative outlets and made the leap to AEW after WWE. Sadly, in Tony Khan's promotion, Hager never really evolved beyond the role of a silent enforcer with a fun hat on and, got to be in Jericho's inner circle. Despite coming in as a former world champion with some real sports credibility, AEW didn't really book him beyond being a middleman to a real main event. He was always kind of a, level boss, not the final boss. He spent most of his time standing behind Chris Jericho and in 2 different versions of Jericho's factions, and really, that was kind of the peak of what he was doing. His matches were infrequent, his style didn't stand out in AEW's fast-paced environment, he never built real momentum. His comedic bits were pretty entertaining, the purple bucket hat, yeah, but kind of overshadowed any attempt to present him as a real threat. Little direction, little screen time, no memorable feuds. Hager faded into the background instead of becoming a key player. Number 4, Keith Lee. Keith Lee's AEW run has been hampered by serious injuries, including a reported double surgery procedure in 2024 and lingering issues from COVID-19 infections from years ago. So the disappointment with him in AEW unfortunately has settled in for fans who were expecting him to be a powerhouse when he leapt to the company from WWE NXT and WWE, where he was very successful, even getting a clean win over Randy Orton. But he debuted in AEW with many expecting a dominant singles push, but soon settled into a tag team with Swerve Strickland. It's not a downgrade. They were successful, but they never really reached their complete peak. And by the time they broke up and Swerve turned on Keith Lee, it was really a launching pad for Keith Lee to go up the roster and eventually become a world champion. Number 3, Aleister Black. Yes, the mysterious occultist himself, Aleister Black, is known in AEW as Malachi Black. He didn't exactly fail. We can't say that at all. No, he was near the top and had his own faction and a lot of time and production value invested in him. But it never really got to that top level. He got to feud with Cody Rhodes right out of the gate and lay him out. His debut was explosive. The House of Black had some striking aesthetics that made them stand out and give them identity in the packed roster of All Elite Wrestling. Black's promos were deep and atmospheric and rarely led to long-term feuds or meaningful stakes, yet becoming something that would get you compelled to see where they were going, but didn't really pay off the way people wanted. Long absences in AEW for Black due to injury and personal issues also disrupted his entire projected growth and left his entire faction kind of directionless. As a result, Aleister became a compelling presence with limited payoff, never reaching the main event level and eventually finding his way back to WWE. Number 2, Adam Cole. Adam Cole, baby. His AEW run has been an unfortunate letdown, mainly due to injuries. Serious injuries at the worst possible time. He arrived with huge momentum as a former WWE NXT champion who never went up to Raw or SmackDown, but was only in NXT. But when he got over to AEW, his presentation lacked urgency. The Undisputed Elite storyline with a faction around him never had a big payoff. Multiple injuries, including a reconstructive ankle surgery and frequent concussions, have sidelined him for big chunks of his time in AEW, halting his rise. Yet still, there was some extreme highs within all of this, including a comedic pairing with MJF, where as a tag team they opened AEW's biggest show to date, yes, and then got to close it, main eventing for the AEW World title in front of a packed Wembley Stadium. He didn't win that match, but more injuries that would follow that big high have continued, and he's never been able to surpass it. Once again, injuries have come up and have prevented him from performing, even to the point where he had to get in the ring at All In recently and announce there's a possibility he may never come back to in-ring action. Number 1, Jeff Hardy. Jeff Hardy's AEW run was widely viewed as an unfortunate failure. failure because it never came close to the comeback story many had hoped for. His arrival generated huge excitement, but his performances quickly slowed due to injuries and slower due to noticeable limitations from those injuries. AEW tried pushing the Hardys into a big match early on with the Young Bucks, but it didn't deliver and an injury occurred, yet Jeff struggled to deliver at the level he once did. His ongoing personal issues ultimately derailed everything. A DUI arrest in 2022 led to his suspension. Even when he briefly returned, the momentum was gone, and the company kept him out of high-risk programs. Jeff's time in AEW unfortunately was defined by inconsistency, injuries, and undermet expectations.